So as we're settling in to take your seat, think about bringing yourself back into yourself. Close your eyes. We'll start with a little meditation just to help ease us into a space of awareness and being fully present, mind, body, and being. And start with your breath. Just nice, gentle inhales and exhales. Try not to create any particular sort of rhythm, just noticing how your inhale arrives and then how your exhale leaves. Think of this as like your tuning fork, and you're just settling in and attuning, taking a pulse, an inventory of how you're feeling as you become even more present with every breath, every second that you are still. It's in this space of stillness that we can do some pretty impactful healing, restoration, regather your energy sources. And as you're holding this space of stillness and silence, there are things that are coming up for sure. Acknowledge and notice the thoughts that are floating to the surface, and be curious about, is this something that really needs my attention right now? Can I put this to the side, or is this what I need to work through on my mat today? And if it's not necessarily working through something, is it an energy that you want to call upon to bring in to focus in your practice? We'll start to make the breath more mighty now with some rhythm and some purpose. So inhale to a 6 or 7 count. Slowly drink in your breath. Hold at the top of that inhale, hold. Sip in a little more air. Exhale to a 6 or 7 count. Even this in your breath pace. You'll hold at the bottom of that exhale. Feel your belly button snap towards your spine. Push out a little more air. Exhale. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, fill all the way up. Notice how your body starts to move with the space of your breath. Pause at the top of that inhale, hold. Sip in a little more air. Rhythmic exhale. Bottom of the exhale, you hold. Push out a little more air. And return to a normal breath here. And we'll start with some chakra opening movements. So one for each chakra point. You can stay on your bolster or your block if you're there. I'm going to come off mine. And then just take a few moments to settle into a comfortable seat. So I'm going to uncross and recross my legs the opposite direction. And then place one hand on the earth in front of you and one palm over your heart space. And notice which hand you intuitively placed over your heart. If it's the right hand, then you're feeling a sense of wanting to give, show up, offer. If it is your left hand, then you're in a space where you're needing to receive. Feel yourself grounding, rooting, and slowing down here. And let this be the energy of our flow today. Slow, rooted, moving with purpose. Bring hands to heart space, and if you'd like to set your own intention for your practice, this is a good time to do it. Tune in. And then exhale your intention out. Blink eyes open, and let's take an extended seat. So legs out in front of you. A little bend of the knees. Inhale, reach arms high. Exhale, hinge at your hips, bow forward. Active stretch, so let your heels stretch forward. Sit bones down. Take a breath in, lift the heart. Fold deeper, exhale. Roll the heart up, inhale. Melt heart, exhale. And one more in and out. So good. Inhale, slowly rise up. We'll move into Janu Susarsana. So sole of your right foot to the inside of your left leg. Inhale, reach up, pivot, and fold over your left leg as you exhale. So a more active stretch, you're reaching for your toes. A more passive stretch, you're just allowing yourself to ease over your leg. I'm going to go for a little more active stretch, just really feeling like my muscles need a little bit more. Melt forehead towards your shin, towards your knee. And keep your right hip bone down, keep your right sit bone down. And then walk hands towards you. Bring your right hand outside your right hip, and we'll open up and lift here. Breathe. Exhale, we change sides. Janusarsana. Extend your right leg, sole of left foot inside. Inhale, reach arms high, pivot. Exhale, bow over your right leg. And again, more passive. Hands can maybe come up towards your knee height area. More active stretch, fingertips towards toes. One more breath in, shift into your hips, your sit bones. Soften hard, exhale. Left hand outside your left hip. Inhale, lift and reach. Exhale, back to the earth. Good. Let's start to come down onto our backs. Lower all the way down, extend and reach your arms up and over your head. We'll find Banana Asana for the third chakra. So I'm going to take a moment and just shift. And then you can bring palms to opposite elbows or palms touch, and then arch your body over to the right. Take your feet over to the bottom right corner of your mat. So you're making a banana shape, and then cross right ankle on top of left. If this feels like it's too much for your shoulders, you can always bring your arms beside your body. So maybe right arm beside your body, but then left arm up and over. Just try a couple different variations to feel where your body lands into its sweet spot. And enjoy this nice lengthening and extension through the side body on the left, and then a little gentle compression on the right. And since we're on the right side, we're just going to shift into opening your heart a little bit and front line a little bit more. So we'll move to cat pulling tail pose from here. You can back out of your arch a little bit, uncross your legs, and then roll onto the right side body. Rest your head into your hand. Left palm is at your center. Top leg is going to extend out. Looking for my block. Okay. This might be a good one for your block. You can extend your top leg out and let it rest on a pillow or a block. Okay. Bend your back knee, your bottom knee. Receive your hand to foot connection, and I'm already feeling this in my right quad. So you might just stay here. You could release your arm and your head down. You can also let your top shoulder roll back, which is going to intensify the quad opening. And then this extended leg, the closer you bring it towards your head, again, the more intensity this stretch will offer you. Just kind of figuring out where you're landing today on that spectrum of passive energy and intense energy. And then fill your body with your breath. See, it's not always the vigorous power poses that get us. Sometimes it's these rich, active stretches that hold our attention and make us realize what we hold in our body. And then release cat pulling tail. We'll roll onto belly and come into Sphinx pose. So that I'm not facing the back. I'm going to shift on my mat. And for Sphinx pose, just prop up onto your forearms. Palms are down. Feet can be as wide as your hips or a little wider, or toes a little closer to touch. Just feel that out for your low back. Push into your palms a little bit, pull the heart forward, press into the blade of your forearms so you get a little bit more activation in the upper body, and top of your head towards the ceiling. And then we'll release in surfboard pose. Stack one head on top of the other. Rest your forehead onto the back of your palms. And then we'll roll onto our backs again. Take a moment to settle in. Make sure I'm not too far off camera here. Perfect. All right. And extend your legs. So we'll move into Banana Asana on the other side. Arms up and over your head. Cross your palms at your elbows or palms touch. Arch your body over to the left. Take your feet to the bottom left corner of your mat. Cross left ankle on top of right. The idea here is that your shoulders are soft and touching the earth. So if you feel like your upper body is sort of hovering, then you've gone too far. Come out of your arch a little bit. If you feel like you can place a little bit more focus on this little bit of compression or bind here, then you can arch your body more. Then let your face be at ease, close the eyes, and enjoy a few breaths here. Start to come out of your arch, uncross your legs. We'll roll onto the left hip on the other side so we can get into cat pulling tail pose here. So rest your head into your hand, and then if you'd like to use your block, place your block out in front of you. Top leg starts to kick out, resting on the block or the floor. Bend your bottom knee, and then take a moment to tune in, take inventory. See if you'd like to extend your head and your arm down, and maybe drop the right shoulder back. Breathe. Give yourself a few more breaths here. And start to release, and we'll roll back onto our bellies again. So from Sphinx pose, you can stay here, or we're going to move into seal pose. Kind of turn your palms out, arms out like a W, and then lift and straighten. Don't completely lock the arms, little bend of the elbows. Check in with the low back. Push the tops of your feet to the mat. Activate the quads. Push into the L shape of your palms, and then top of the head to the ceiling. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then we release back into surfboard pose. Opposite palm on top, forehead to the back of your hands. Melt here. And then start to lift back up. And from here, we move into child's pose. So toes touch, knees wide. If you have a bolster or a block, so something nice that you can do, of course, is to just rest over the bolster in your child's pose. You could also take your block and rest your forehead on your block. Just something to make it a little bit different than your power practice. Elbows can come to touch at your knees, like goalpost the arms, palms down. If you have the block and want to do a little more opening in the chest, you can bring elbows on top of the block and then behind your shoulders, just to feel a little more stretch. You can also bring the block further out for the hands and then melt forehead or nose, chin to the throat, to the mat. I think I'd like to be here today for a few breaths. Come back to intention. And let you and your intention get acquainted here a little bit more. And then start to come out of your child's pose. Let's lift up to tabletop and set your props to the side. So tabletop, take a couple cat-cows. It's always interesting how much my mat moves when it's not at the studio. Okay, couple cat-cows here. I always feel cat-cow so differently in the morning than I do afternoon or evening. So we're going to give this a couple more breaths just because if you're like me, you might be feeling a little bit more stagnant or tight in the back. And then bring your fingertips to the mat, tuck your chin towards your chest. Get a little bit more stretch in the upper back. Pull shoulders down, away from ears. And then let's exaggerate through cow pose. Bend the elbows, push into the L shape of your palms, pull the heart through the chest, top of the head to the ceiling, booty towards the back of your head. And then we find our downward facing dog. So lift the hips up and back very gingerly, nice and easy into this. And find some stretches. So slow movement through the flow. Kind of like we're building to a peak of the practice before we come back down to the mat to slow things down. And this time for Vin Yin, it's not necessary to kick your leg all the way up and back. You can just lift it halfway. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, one knee to nose, just to kind of open up a little bit more, backside of the body. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, runner's lunge, right hand outside. Now this is where you can use your block and bring your back knee to your block. Okay. Spider tip fingers or make a fist. And we'll hang out here in our runners for a few breaths. You can do some little cat-cow movements in the upper body. That can either feel really good or really intense. And then if you use the block, reach back, set your block to the front of your mat. Let's come into a modified runner's lunge, back knee down. Inhale, reach right arm high. And stretch and open up through the pec, intercostals. Drop your left ear towards your left shoulder and then start to reach your right fingers to the back room. Opposing stretch. Then swivel around, lift your back knee. We'll come into Prasarita Padottanasana. So make adjustments through your feet. Hello. Relax your head and neck here. I'm going to take a little bit of a space to release the head and the neck. So crossing arms and then resting your forehead on your forearms. It creates a nice little added release for the head and the neck as you sway side to side. Shake yes and no. And then hands to the mat, we'll crawl forward to a low lunge, this time right foot in between the hands, and bring your back knee down either to the floor or to your block. We'll find crescent moon, come on up. So for today, starting off with shoulders stacked over the hips, and front knee right over front heel. And reaching up through the left quad, left psoas. We'll just take a few moments here to settle into this. I'm definitely feeling it on the left side. Hands can come to heart. And then inhale back up to our crescent moon. Little back bend here if you'd like as you exhale. Inhale back up to crescent moon. Exhale, fingertips touch the floor. If you have the block, we're just going to take a moment to set that to the side. And then back knee straight and strong. Reach up, full crescent lunge now. Good. And then take some liberty to stretch out, to breathe, to move a little bit. Hands can come to heart. Good. Deep breath in. As you exhale, I'm going to slice open your arms, warrior two. And settle into a little more hip opening here. We're going to rotate through palms a few times. So tuck your thumb to the inside of your palm and then wrap your fingers around your thumb and roll your wrists out clockwise, counterclockwise a few times. And stretch the palms out, and then we bring the fingers in first, and then the thumbs hook on the outside of your index finger, and then rotate through the wrists. Release that, stretch the arms out, breath in. Exhale, extended side angle, forearm to front thigh, nice and easy through the left arm, left shoulder, and then let your right ear fall towards your front shoulder. And as you do this, first plant your palm like you're raising the roof, and then start to send the heel of your hand away from you as you extend your arm towards the back wall. You should feel a mighty stretch through your left arm right now, all the way into the side of your neck. Then release into a half bind. We're going to take our right hand and support the side of your head and lift head back over heart. Reverse warrior, reach the right arm up and then tilt back a little bit. And then here we're going to play with a variation, heel of hand towards ceiling. As you drop your left ear towards your left shoulder, start to extend your right arm out, push away to the side of the room, and get that intense stretch to the right side. Bring your right arm up and over to the outside of your head. Use your upper body to pull your head back over your heart. Good. Let's back to warrior two, breath in. Exhale down to the mats. So for today, we're just going to step back into tabletop and then lift into downward facing dog. Let's open up the left side. So again, you can just inhale, lift the left leg halfway. One quick knee to nose, round and curl. Push your heel back, breath in. And we're moving into our runners as we breathe out. So back knee can be down or on your block. You can spider tip fingers like you have suction cups under your palms. Come down to the flush of your knuckles. And we'll breathe here. It's always interesting doing yin work because I often am reminded the body how much it needs rest or space and how intense these stretches are. And it's like I've never done yoga before. I always joke. It's like sometimes you get into a pose or a stretch and it's like, wow, I've been here so many times. Doesn't feel like it. And that's just the power of our practice, always shifting things and have how we as humans hold energy. We'll take a few more breaths. You can find little cat-cow movements here again if you want to try that on here. If you have the block, take a moment to sit back for a minute. Set the block to the side. Back knee comes back down. Lift the left arm for this nice opening to the chest. And then draw your right ear towards right shoulder as you send the left fingertips away from you. Up and around, lift your back knee, we'll come into Prasarita Padottanasana. So you might have to Adjust your feet. Roll weight towards your toes. Let your head be below your heart. And if you want to try that extension of space, forehead rests on the cross of your arms, and then you just sway side to side. Or it might feel good to do some skandasana here. Especially after the chakra 2 hip flows I've been doing the last couple days. This feels pretty nice. Come back into our prasarita, and let's take the hands behind the head, elbows out wide. Let's just gonna add a little more stretch onto your neck. Enjoy that for a few more breaths. And then release, take a halfway lift. We crawl forward to a low lunge, so now the left foot is in between the hands. We'll bring our back knee down, oh my gosh, to a block or to the floor, crescent moon. Take a moment to get yourself situated and set up. Okay, breathing in, breathing out. Hands can also rest at the heart. All right, if you wanted to find a little bit of a back bend in your crescent moon, start to tilt the hips forward a little bit, reach up through the back of your heart. And then we'll touch the earth to move the block out from underneath us. Back leg is straight and strong. Come into crescent. And then a few breaths here, hands at heart. Find some movement. And be still. Inhale. Exhale. Open up, warrior 2. Okay. So on this side, we'll do some different stretches. We'll take a moment and bring hands to heart, and then see how that helps you to align your body. Shoulders right over your hip bones. And then automatically when I do that, I notice that my front knee wants to move in. So I'm going to help to support it moving out towards middle toe of front foot. And then feeling more of the inner thigh opening here with hands at heart. Interlace hands behind you this time. Start to bring right shoulder back, left shoulder back. And then you can find a little bit of a chest expansion here, lifting your chin off your chest. Notice the front knee starting to track back in. Big, spacious breath. And then we'll bring the knuckles towards your back hip, towards your right hip. And tilt your ear to back shoulder. And then knuckles towards front hip, ear to front shoulder. Hopefully you're feeling some of this release in the neck. And then back here to release. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, extended side angle. So we'll play around with some neck release here on this side. So start to lower the left ear to the front shoulder and extend your right arm towards your side body. Fingers are pointing up. And then palm can touch your hip. Roll the right shoulder back. Inhale, reach up. And then let's reverse. We'll take the half bind. We'll get that stretch on the other side. So tailbone down, lift up left fingertips over the shoulder, gaze back, or actually tilt back, that is, and then start to lower the left arm. Fingers are up. Palm faces out. All the way down to touch your front thigh. You can even push the heel of your hand into your front thigh. And then inhale back to warrior 2. And exhale down to the mat. Step back to tabletop. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good. So take a few moments in your down dog to feel the change of your body with the stretch, with the movements. We'll just find a little bit of flow to bring in the peak of our practice, a little more warmth, a little more breath, prana. On your next inhale, extend your right leg up and back. Right to a lunge. Inhale, let's find crescents. We'll add on a gentle twist here as we exhale, let your back knee bend. Inhale, opening up warrior two. Exhale, extended side. Reverse, nice and easy. Exhale to the mat. High plank or just to tabletop. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left heel up and back. Right into our low lunge. Inhale, rise, crescent. Exhale, vertical left. Opening up warrior two, facing the sun. Exhale, extended side angle. Reverse, nice and easy. Deepen that lunge. And exhale to the mat. Step back, high plank or tabletop. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Let breath go. Ha. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, low lunge, and then bring back knee down. We'll come back into our crescent moon, and then hands come to heart. And you might stay right here today, or you can even open up a vertical twist. I'm going to move into crescent moon twist. So toe heel the right foot forward, a little bit more space. Lean forward and then twist, elbow outside thigh. So deeper twist in crescent moon to work on a little more purification. One more breath in. And exhale, release. Toe heel, right foot out. So we're coming into a second set of runner's lunge. This time we can go a little bit deeper, untuck toes if you want. You can come down to a block with your upper body, and that'll intensify this stretch. The back knee can also be lifted. There's lots of different variations. If you are down towards the floor, start to come back up, and we'll just straighten the front leg, shift your hips back, melt heart towards the floor. And then back into runner's lunge. Tuck your back toes. And step your right foot to meet the left. Bring your left knee down to the mat, supported side plank. And you reach up through right arm. Turn your toes in towards your face. The blade of your heel is on the mat. Opening up here, and then we'll rainbow through the body. And then mermaid, like you're rounding over a big beach ball, scoop down. And then up. We'll do that 2 more times. Down and up, down. All right, so now that you're here, pause. Bring your right knee to meet your left, square the hips, and then we're going to move into threading the needle. So come all the way down, and I prefer a block when I do this. Okay, so left arm out, right arm can come up and over. You can make that little suction cup energy with your palm, or half bind. left palm down, right arm high. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Take a breath in and let breath go. Again, 2 more like that, just settling in, being the pose, let the pose be you. And then lift your left heel up and back. Exhale, low lunge. Back knee down, crescent moon. Come on up for a moment. Hands come to the heart, and then toe heel your left foot forward a little bit. You can stay here or take a vertical twist, or we hook elbow outside thigh and work into crescent moon twist. Heart towards thumb, stacking palms, stacking elbows, twisting from belly button up. Two more breaths. Release. Runner's lunge. And then this time we'll work on finding a little more depth in the upper body so you can come down to your block. And then start to come back up. And we'll just shift the hips back, straighten the front leg, breathe here. Start to come forward, tuck your back toes, step back, high plank, right knee down, turn the right foot out, supported side plank, lift up. Rainbow the body, stretch through, reach the arm back up, and then we'll round over our imaginary beach ball. It's like a nice big hug. On this third one, this last one, we'll pause. Back of the hand to the mat and just bring your knees towards one another. And we just move right along into threading the needle. Front right fingertips, that is, can reach forward or half bind. Couple more breaths. And we release and stretch. Tabletop. Press your ankles behind you, walk your knees forward. We'll come to a seat for a moment. Bring your right hand outside your right hip, reach the left arm up and over. And then hand outside your ear, and then pull your head gently, left ear to left shoulder, and push down more into the right hand. And then we release by allowing the chin to tuck to the chest, left hand down, right arm up and over, reaches outside your ear, and then you're just gently shifting the head, right ear to right shoulder, push down into the left palm. release hand to head, chin to chest. And a couple on your own, just rock chin to chest, ear to shoulder. And then let's come onto our backs. So take a moment to settle onto the earth. Do a quick check of our time here. Perfect. Block or bolster nearby. So we can move into supported bridge. Now, if you have a bolster, I definitely recommend that. You can just recline across your bolster enough that your booty will lift a little bit, and if your torso is a little bit longer, then that's where you bring the block behind your head. You can even do it lower point or medium point. There we go. And then you just bliss out right here, okay? If you don't have a bolster or a pillow, that's okay. You can use your block or a pillow, a smaller pillow. Lift your hips, bring, I would say like not super high, maybe not like medium to low, so heart is still lifted, but we're easing in. Gentle is the key word here. Close your eyes, rotate your shoulders underneath your chest, palms face up. Move your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Maybe even let your bottom jaw sort of hang. Soften the space of the sixth chakra around your brows, the top of your nose. The hairline softens, the ears. And if you're feeling the call to stay, then you're right where you need to be. You're ready to come out, lift your hips enough to slide the block out. If you have the bolster, you can sort of just roll off to one side or the other. And once everything is on the floor, hug your thighs to your belly and then palms on your shins and rock roll a little bit. And we'll do a low back reset here. So what I'd like you to do is keep your feet as wide as possible, wide as the edges of your mat or wider. And without moving the feet, your knees will actually fall to the right. This is a nice low back reset. If it feels okay, you can anchor your left thigh with your right ankle. Now change the pattern of your breath here. Suddenly it's a whole different pose. And then you can release. We return to center and shift. Our knees fall left, feet are wide apart. You can anchor left ankle on top of right thigh here. And get really big with your breath. And then release, and we'll come into reclined bound angle pose. So soles of feet together, knees wide. And a couple things here, you can also bring a small pillow or a block underneath you. So in this posture, you can bring the block or the pillow kind of underneath the back of the heart. And that's going to give you a lot more frontline opening. If you're choosing to be here for a few breaths and have an eye pillow, I would recommend going ahead and resting. Give yourself some open mouth, cleansing exhales. If surrendering here doesn't feel quite right, bring you into Shavasana for our final pose. You can bring your knees to touch. And then get yourself ready to bliss out. So I think I might bring my bolster underneath my knees. And again, if you have an eye pillow, maybe you've cooled down and you need a blanket, get yourself super yummy and then release final Shavasana. Know that I will guide you out, or you can stay as long as you'd like. This is your time. Continue to be still. And I'll be offering a closing invocation for our practice today, so you can stay in Shavasana or come to a seat. Maybe come back and listen to it later when you're ready to receive. Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidanandam Yortaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidanandam Yortaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. often close my practice with that Anusara invocation. It's one of my favorites. It calls to me often, and whenever it does, I feel it's needed to be shared. And that is our divine teacher lighting up our path of bliss. And take a moment to honor yourself, your practice, this time that we're in together, this new space, this new light. We now have transitioned to a space of balance in this new moon. What an incredible gift that we get to receive. If you're ready to close your practice, you can bring your hands to heart or thumbs to connect to third eye. Taking a moment to honor the love, the light, the teacher in ourselves and each other. Namaste. All right. See you guys later. Thank you.